Hi, welcome to Citizen Watch, where your voice matters. I am Allison Salinas. I'm the host of your show, and I have a guest with me today, CharT. I want to welcome her. Welcome to Citizen Watch, CharT. How are you doing?
I'm great. How you doing tonight?
Awesome. Sorry about that. I'm doing great. So we have a lot to talk about tonight. We visited previously right before the show and talked about a few items. But I want to start, I think, with the most important thing. I originally thought there was a really good topic to talk about, but then you mentioned something that's even bigger. So we're going to lead with that. And we're going to talk about this. You are a walkaway. Can you tell me what that means to you and what is your definition of that and where you stand?
My definition of being a walkaway means that my only two elections that I was actually able to participate in and vote in was Obama's years. I was just turning 18 when he was first running, so I could not vote yet, so I worked in the polls. Then his second term, I was able to vote, so I did because he was a black man, and that's all I cared about. Then when it came time to vote again and it was Trump Hillary, I was still so succumbing to the news media and everything that they were saying. I was just like, well, I voted for him, might as well vote for her because it's just what you do. But I never felt fully right about it because lots of their stances and the political positions they take, I didn't like. But they kept telling me the same thing over and over again. We're going to do this for you. We're going to attack the rich. We're going to make sure everybody pays their fair share. It's going to be even across the board. And I'm just like, you make it sound so simple and nice. But when I actually had time to sequester because Corona hit and I didn't have nowhere else to go, I started to dig. I started to research. I started to look at things. I started to take the time when I'm trapped in my house, being like, okay, I'm going to actually compare apples to apples here. What am I dealing with? And when I actually looked at what the two party lines were doing and how everything was lining up, I was like, my faith says to go this way, but my culture says to go this way. I'm kingdom before I'm culture, so I'm going this way. And I completely jumped ship. And I was just like, I couldn't swim fast enough, if you know what I mean. It was like tea party. I was throwing myself and the tea overboard. And I was like, I got to get out of Dodge. So that's basically it in a nutshell. My faith became more of a precedence to me than my culture, where I was just like, yes, I'm black. You can tell. It's kind of obvious. It's all over my body. But no, I do not vote Democrat simply because I'm black. I vote kingdom, strictly kingdom. So if your principles and your policies don't line up with scripture, you don't get my vote. So I had to finally just succumb to that and be like, I'm drawing the line in the sand. I'm going to compare which party lines up with my values and my morals. And if you don't fit that, then I ain't voting for you no more. Forget it.
Wow. Um, that's incredibly powerful. You need to write a book and hand it to
I
every
have
Democrat
tried to write
alive.
three and they've gone nowhere. They're sitting on my computer right now. So, yeah.
I might be able to help you with that. So, wow, faith over politics. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty strong, and that's, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what this is about.
Yeah, like
This is
even my
about
shirt that I'm wearing tonight, I don't know if you can really see it, but it says warning, I'll start talking about Jesus at any minute. So it's like at any time I'm gonna start talking about Christ. So it's just who I am, it's what I do. So
right.
yeah.
Well, amen to that. Definitely, I'm a firm believer. I'm a Christian. I attend the Church the Encounter in East Peoria, Illinois, and
The
I
encounter
love
is where
my
you go.
the Encounter. Yes.
My church is called Encounter
Oh, well, see,
of Bartlett,
wow.
Illinois. So hello. Like,
Wow. There you
yeah.
go.
Mm.
Yes, it's called The Encounter in East Peoria, Illinois. I was turned on to it by two friends of mine. They said, hey, come check us out. I needed a home church. So I'm like, okay, come check it out. So, when you're talking about faith and politics, that's a deep hole. That really is. That goes as far as the eye can see. And when you're talking about the beliefs and where Democrats stood versus Republicans, and you really had to, kind of dig in the sand a little bit with where you actually fell in. So that's incredibly smart. And I wish more people would do that. And it's not so much just to come to this side, it's to come to God's side and where our Constitution firmly stands and what our forefathers brought and what the Bible says and what God teaches us. And, we obviously we can go on and on about that.
Yeah.
But so you are the epitome of the walk away. I like that. And I didn't know that before we had this conversation. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Which goes to show you that, we had conversations through Telegram several times and we got along just fine. We didn't know each other. We didn't know what the party lines were. Well, I didn't know you might have known mine because I mentioned I was running for Senate. But I didn't know yours. So that's important, I think. And that means something. So while we're talking about Democrats, we're going to switch gears a little bit and we're going to talk about this bill that just passed. And I know, and the bill I'm referring to is House Bill 3653. And what that bill is it has to do with our law enforcement. And basically, in a nutshell, there's 750 pages. So I'm not going to obviously go over everything, but we are going to talk about this a little bit. Now, you have friends in law enforcement, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, and so do I. The guy I'm buying my house from is actually a police officer. And so is his brother. So they've got family in the police force. So this bill touches a lot of people and it's making a lot of, it makes the law enforcement, their job harder, and it makes it almost impossible to do. So I'm going to run over a couple of things that are in this bill and kind of get your opinion on it and what you think and where you stand. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is the body cam issue. Body cams are great. They're great for the officers. They're great for the perpetrators and victims all the way around to protect everybody. That's what it's supposed to be there for. But the problem with this bill is it is now saying that if an officer walks into someone's home and the homeowner says, you need to turn that off, they have to turn that off. Well, to me, there goes the protection of the officer. Mm-hmm. There goes the possible protection of the homeowner. So what do you think, what is your opinion about that, and where do you stand on that, and what do you think some problems that could come from that?
So what I believe, like with that one point right there, is I'm going to make it very simple. If I call a 1-800 number, or if I call my bank or my insurance company for my car, like they're going to tell me that this call may be being recorded for consumer purposes or whatever they may have it. So if they're letting me know up front that they're recording this call for whatever reason they want to record it for. So if something as simple as your bank or your insurance company can record your voice where you're talking to one of their reps, then a cop who is in probably way worse danger than somebody who I'm talking to over the phone should be able to notify the person that, yes, my body cam is on right now for security purposes. If you notify them and you let them know that you are recording this situation for their safety and your own, then by all means, you should be able to do that. It's the notice of. It's what most people get offended by, is that they're not telling us. They're recording us without our consent. And that's where most African Americans draw the line, because they want power. And they're just like, you're recording without my consent, so I don't want you to be able to do that. So I'm going to tell you, you can't do that, because they are trying to one step, because they're trying to get off the plantation as fast as possible. So they're going to try to use whatever rule, whatever thing they can pull to be like, no, I don't want you having that on. Anybody that feels like they can get an upper hand on somebody when they're in a bind, they're going to try to get it. So they'll nitpick, draw straws, and be like, you got to turn that off because I don't want you to have it on, just to be nitpicky, which is just petty in my opinion.
Absolutely. And it creates a danger for all sides, because now there's no recording of what happened. There's no protection level, and that's scary. Mm-hmm. And okay, so another topic that I want to talk about is, again, with this bill, it's obviously they want more training, that there's more training in law enforcement that's being requested, which is fine. Training is always good. Problem is who's going to pay for it? Well, taxpayers. And but here's the catch: is not only do they want more training, they want better equipment, more body cams, this, and this. They want A, B, C, and D. And if you don't get it, even though you don't have the funding, then that opens up for defunding your station, and then that means that there's ramifications for charges being brought on officers. There's ramifications for police losing their ability to be a police officer because of that. What is your stance on that, and do you think that's fair? And what's going on in your head when you hear that?
When I hear something like that, like we're going to put these stipulations on you, but you have to be able to afford them to be able to put them through. And if you can't afford them, then we're going to take more of your money away that you don't have to give. That just is plain idiotic to me. I'm just like, you're telling me that I got to pay for something that I'm telling you that I can't afford to pay. So you're going to take more stuff away from me to punish me for what I can't already afford. That's not right on anybody's grounds of anywhere. If police stations could become like 501c3s where we could tax deductibly donate to them like we do churches and like different charities or whatever, by all means.
That's a good idea.
Police officers wouldn't have to worry about a thing because the people on the right, the people that care about them, they will support them. They will make sure they're fully funded like a missionary, because that's basically what they're doing. They're going out into dangerous territories to protect us, to take care of us, to make sure that we are safe. So if they can get enough donations from their own public where they're just like, yes, we want to make sure that you have everything that you need to do what you need to do so you don't got to worry about the burden of it all. Sweet Jesus. But as of right now, there's really no way to do that tangibly where it can be a reoccurring donation where you're basically adopting a police house or something like that.
That's not a bad idea. Might look into that. See, we come up with solutions. This is what I like about Citizen Watch is I invite people up here and I want to hear your voice. I want to hear your solutions. I want to hear real, we have real problems in this state and in the United States. But if we're just looking at Illinois, because simply that's where I'm running, then we need to come up with solutions instead of acting like 13-year-olds arguing at a dinner table, and one person always thinks they're right. And that's a great solution. Why can't that be looked into? That's something for our representatives to tell that are currently in seating. I'm going to give, I was watching one today. I was watching a rep today, and God, I love her to death. She's fierce, and she just doesn't pull punches, and she's very honest. Tony McCombie went live today with a police officer, or a chief, I believe, chief of police. And, she would be one to ask that question too. She would be one to say, hey, what about this idea? What about this? And that's where it comes to reaching out to your representatives. And I've always encouraged that. And just real quick, Noah, we'll get to the questions at the end of this. We're going to do all questions at the end. That way we can focus more on it, but I will get to your question. I'm not ignoring you. So I have the comments up where I can see them, and there's people commenting. So I want to make sure that they're heard. But we will do questions at the end. So yeah, you're right. You can't expect them to do their job if you're not going to give them the avenues to do that job. And, like one of the other things that was mentioned is they have taken away literally every avenue of non-lethal force with police officers. So people, and we saw a lot of this with the rioting in the summer and all that stuff that happened. We saw a lot of that where people are, well, why do they got to use guns? But if this bill just took away rubber bullets or mace or anything else non-lethal, what does that leave? That leaves lethal reactions. And they don't always have to be lethal. You can stop somebody in their tracks without killing them. I'm a firm believer of that. You don't have to kill someone to get them to stop. But these police officers are in dire situations sometimes, and it's split-second decisions that aren't that easy to make. So So we met on Telegram. We're going to kind of bounce back and forth a little bit. So we met on Telegram. It's a great app. I love it. It's non-censored. We can say what we want, and there's nobody kicking us off for it. So it's great. Gives people more of a voice. So I'm curious, what is your take on the voter fraud stuff? We'll touch on that just a little bit. What do you think happened there? What do you think's going on?
Okay. My take on the election 2020 is that we, the employer, were trying to hire somebody to run our country. And our other employees decided that was a bad idea. So they decided to band together to make sure that the CEO that they wanted to run their company, quote unquote company, was put in over the boss that they had, that we, their basically employers, wanted to keep. So it's like, we went to the board meeting, we all went there to cast our vote for who we wanted to run the company, and other employees that we had already hired that turned out to be crooked, we're like, we're going to revolt, and we're going to basically rig this vote so that you can't get the guy you want to be the VP of your company. Like, no, you're the CEO, yes, but you're a VP, we don't want him. So we're going to make sure your VP is somebody else. And last time I checked, that's how you fire people. If I'm your boss and I'm telling you who I want to basically run this place when I can't, you can't tell me who that person can be. That's not democratic. That's not Republican. That's nothing. That's just dictatorship, tyranny. Like, we're supposed to be able to go to the polls, put in the paper. It's supposed to have what it says on it. No one should be able to change it. They should be able to count them 1 to 1 and then see at the end of the day who is the rightful winner. But when you keep hearing people say, oh, it was so fair, it was so great, we've never had an election this fair in all of history, but yet they won't let you check the ballots. They won't let you actually see the proof. Every time you say, okay, show us, prove it, they run scared. They're like, oh, nope, there's nothing to see here. Burn it, shred it, make it go away. Like, no, that's not what winners do. Winners gloat. Winners gloat, and they gloat well. When you win, you stand up on your podium with your gold medal. You're not afraid to bite it, to show it off, tell the world that my country's the best country because we won something. But this side that says they won and won so well, they won't let us see anything. No proof, no nothing. Not one of the lawsuits was able to be heard on the evidence. They were canceled on the merits. Like, yeah, you're bringing this to me, I don't even want to look at it, so boom, it's gone. Yep, you're bringing me another one, I don't want to look at it, so boom, it's gone. That's not how we do things in this country. And because of that, that's how I know 100% that it was 100% rigged to the hilt, because you don't hide the proof when you know you're right. Because that's where you get arrogant. That's where you get cocky. And you're like, look it, see, I can prove it to you. Because that's what I would do. If I knew I was right and someone was telling me that I was wrong, I would be ripping out every piece of evidence I had, being like, look at it for yourself. But they won't let us do that. Don't smell right.
Wow. Well, you are you we got it. There you go. You got me. This girl, love this. She needs her own page if she doesn't already have one. You are a firecracker, and I'm loving it. I love the outspokenness. I love the heart. I love everything about it. And you're right. And we'll touch a little bit on this. I've had an opportunity, thanks to a dear good friend of mine that actually runs my cameras for this show, to show me some footage and some films on Ron Paul. And I don't know how much you know about him, but you're speaking like him, so you know enough. When we talk about freedom and we talk about liberties and we talk about the right thing, and you're right. When I was younger, I was on a swim team, and every time I won first place, I remember breaststroke. I dove off, and I guess I false started, and I just kept going, and then I swam back, and they said, oh, you can rest. No, I got it. And I'm back up, and I'm doing it again because I know I got it. And, that's the irrefutable proof. That's what you're right. That's what winners do. That's what Donald Trump did. And, there's rumors that he's not done. There's a date, March 4th, which coincidentally is the original date of putting in someone in office back in 1776, I believe, if my facts are correct. But so we shall see. That would be nice, but we don't know. So we just have to kind of keep praying and keep hoping. But in the meantime, we still got to fix this state. In the meantime, Illinois is still here, thanks to our lovely governor. Sorry, I know that was a bit of an eye roll, but I had to, for screwing up our state even more. But, you know, okay, give me 1 second. I apologize. My computer is not plugged in again. Hold on. I'm probably going to die if I don't hurry up. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second.
So, as a producer in here, can you all hear me all right?
Yeah.
CharT, you are cracking some people up. We're gonna go ahead and throw a question while she's working on this real quick. Noah had asked, is it true that anywhere in public is allowed to be recorded or correct? I don't know if you have. I don't know if I have the understanding on that. Allison, do you know the answer to that question or not? We're just dealing with that question that Noah had placed earlier about.
Okay. Anywhere in public is allowed to be recorded. Correct? Is that the question that we're dealing with? I apologize for that.
Is that? Do you know? I mean, you have some friends in the police force. Is that the? I don't know how to answer that one correctly.
The census is that I'm aware of is that you have to let them know you're being recorded. So yes is the answer to that. Okay, so sorry about that, guys. I really got to start checking that. I thought it was plugged in. I don't want to, last time I did this, I completely died out. So great. Okay, so we're back. So back to what we were talking about. We were talking about our state and our governor, and I guess that's what I get for rolling my eyes and telling the world that he's not doing his job. My computer tries to die. So when we have to back up and think about this, what can we do? Whether Trump is done or not, doesn't matter right now. How can we fix Illinois? How can we start from the bottom up and work our way up?
The best way that I can envision starting to fix this country is we got to become like Project Veritas Illinois edition. Like that's basically the only way to do it, is to have those like secret little cameras that we have like in our pens or whatever, in our suit jackets, going to all these different galas and balls that they're throwing for political reasons, and just getting in there and just being a fly on the wall, just snooping on them, and being able to be like, we've been recording you for the last like 2-3 months and we got all the information. We're going to start putting it out in little snippet bites so that everybody can hear exactly what you think of your state, exactly what you're doing. Because if you logically listen to this man in his like soapbox interviews, like he is not speaking anything logical. And when he does try to speak logic, he doesn't have the proof to back it up. He won't show you let's take COVID, for instance. He won't show you the actual documents that he's referring to for why he wants to keep the state shut. But then no sooner the man that the left wanted gets in office, all of a sudden the 3 biggest states that kept them locked down, oh, now we can open. Yeah, we are still in the red. Yeah, we're still going no place positive. But yeah, now the guy we want is in office. We can start opening our cities again. We can get our economies rolling because he's there. Not because we think we should. It's because we know we can now, because the guy we wanted got in there. We don't got to keep you all under basically lock and key now and away from each other. So it's that whole idea. We got to catch them verbally, visually doing what they're doing. Because if we don't, then they're going to be able to be like, no, that's not true. That's a false statement. Like, no, they got no way to actually prove that. But when you have physical, visual, audio, because you went to one of their sponsored events or whatever, no one can dispute that. You could be able to post that out anywhere and be like, look at here. You see it for yourself.
Absolutely. That definitely deserves an amen. Speaking of galas, if anyone wants to come to mine on April 2nd, feel free to record me all you want. But anyway, So, with Pritzker, with COVID, you mentioned COVID, and we can touch on that. A lot of people are saying, it's amazing it went away. And like you said, their guy got in. So now he knows he can get that federal bailout he's looking for, because Trump called him out and said, no, I'm not helping you. And the corruption didn't start with Pritzker. It's just still ongoing with Pritzker. And the fact that there are, I believe, 19 billionaires, and I think 8 or 9 of them are Pritzkers in the state of Illinois. Over half of them are all Pritzkers. So, it goes to show you where his heart is, and he's made it very clear he doesn't care about the state. He intends to run for president in 2024. So, yikes. I think he's bad in Illinois. Wait till he runs the country. So anyway, yeah, one of those, I need a ibuprofen for the headache it's going to cause. So is there any topic that really means a lot to you that's going on lately, that as far as our state goes, as far as Illinois goes, is there any topic that really is personal to you or gets to you more than the others that's going on with our government?
Like in the local Illinois government, the biggest thing that bothers me, being that I am an educator, I'm a teacher's assistant at an elementary school, is medicine. Medical is my biggest thing when it comes to students, when it comes to kids, because I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm just a smart vaxxer, okay? I want to make sure I know exactly what you're going to put in me before you put it in me. And if you don't want to let me know that info before you give me said shot, then I don't want said shot. I'm not going to be the naive one that's going to be like, oh yeah, you say it's fine, I'm just going to believe you that it's fine. No, I do my research. I look at the ingredients. I make sure that I know exactly what's in it. Because if I'm allergic to something in there, I'm not just going to take it and then have a reaction and then be told I shouldn't took it after the fact. That's not right. So all the different laws that are trying to be passed in Illinois for mandatory shots for children, I'm like, no, I work with autistic kids. I know what those shots have done. Whether the CDC and the WHO want to admit it or not, they know what they've done. And being that I'm a fully vaxxed kid from the 90s, right when they upped all those shots, and I am dyslexic, I have a developmental delay, and I'm dysgraphic. So my handwriting is crap, my reading is upside down, and I learn a little slow. But I can talk for hours, so I can get places because my vocabulary gets me everywhere I want to go, because I can say big words that I can't spell. So it's kind of fun. But it's because of all of those shots from my youth that I know it's what they did, because I'm allergic to nickel, and all of those shots have heavy metals in them. So I know good and well what they did. My mother didn't know. She just did what the doctor told her to do. So no problems on her part. But after I figured it out and put all the ducks in a row, I was like, never again. You ain't never going to see me in a doctor's office getting another shot. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much you pay. My life is way too important. I got too much stuff to do for Jesus to let you give me a shot that could possibly incapacitate me. And then you bring in good old Gatesy over here, who's going to different countries trying to get rid of everybody black and brown. Last time I checked, that would be me. So no, I don't want anything with his name tied to it. I don't want anything that has his face upon it, anything that has his backing. I don't want none of that, because I know good and well that he is trying to depopulate me and my kind. So that's a big no-no.
Absolutely. Well, and there was a vaccine bill that got tabled for right now. It's dead in the water right now, but it can come back in any time with a new session. And what that bill says is DCFS can now, if that bill is passed, DCFS can step in. If you say you're not going to get your kids vaccinated, your school age kids, that they can't go to school without it. So my answer is, well, get ready to homeschool.
My answer is, what happened to free and public education? Like, if it's supposed to be free and public, you telling me that if I don't have the right chemicals in my body, I can't go learn? Like, no, because then who's going to be the one to take care of said child when they have a reaction? If they have one, not every child will. Some, they can get all their shots and they're perfectly fine. But there are other ones that they will get their shots and they will have reactions. They will have bad side effects. It's not one size fits all with these things. So that's what gets me. You can't say everyone has to have them and then take away the ability for those that can't get them to have an out. Once you do that, then you're basically taking them to the slaughter, and that's not okay, because it's that whole it's not one size fits all thing.
Absolutely. Well, Courtney said, I truly believe Pritzker kept the state shut down only to get a federal bailout. We all can agree to that, I think. It was like he was hanging on no matter what, like he knew what the outcome was going to be. Unfortunately, that's looking like it's true. I mean, we're talking about our state, Illinois, that 20 minutes after the ballots were in, guys, 20 minutes, if not less, our state was called blue. And that's because the electoral votes are in Chicago. Well, our state's red, folks. It's been red. It's just the red doesn't have a voice right now, or they're oppressing it too much, or they're doing whatever they can to try to get us to not have a voice. Then there's people like me, where I'm not right or left. I'm in the middle. I mean, I have right beliefs. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in God, and I believe in what everything, CharT stands for. Absolutely. But I'm also open-minded. I'm willing to hear anybody out. And that's where a lot of the problem is people don't want to hear us. And it's because we're making sense. And it's not because we're better than you, or where it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with this is wrong and this is right. And there is a middle ground where conversations can be had. So we are going to wrap it up. If anybody has any questions, we'll give them a couple minutes. Heather Moore, yes, it's sad that the tyrants want socialism. That's, like CharT said, this is not what we're about. This is not where we stand. We stand for one nation under liberty and God, and that's all we want. Nobody wants to be better than the next. We just want to live in peace, raise our families, and have a right as to what vaccinations we give our kids. Because CharT's right. It isn't a one size fits all. It's not. Every child and every person is different, and their medical needs are different, and that affects a lot of people. And so this is a serious subject that could become a reality in the state of Illinois if people don't step up and start hounding your electors, hounding your legislation. I don't care if you blow up their email. I don't care if you mail them 1,000 letters. I don't care what you got to do. I don't care if you go stand on their doorstep in their office. Do it. Voice up, talk. So if there's any other questions for CharT or myself, put them up now. We'll give you guys a few seconds to get some up if y'all have any questions. If not, we're going to wrap this segment up. I knew I was getting a firecracker, but I'm truly impressed. So I might have you back.
I got one more issue.
Absolutely.
That I know my culture needs to deal with.
Yes.
Because
absolutely.
being at the state of Chicago is where all the electoral votes come from for the state. It gets under my skin that so many African Americans within Chicago are crying foul about all of the killings going on in the youth and in the streets and all the murder that's going on in the city, and how they want the murder to stop, and how they want to be able to see their kids grow up and have a future, but yet they still want to keep those abortion mills open. Yes, they do lots of other things, but if you want to stop death in your streets, then you got to go to the root of the issue, which is stop killing your babies. There are adoption clinics, there are foster homes, there are other ways that you can easily give that kid away if you think that it's just too much for you to bear. If you're able to carry that child, you should have that child. Because if you want your killings to stop, then you need to look at the statistics that the woman who opened those centers, who actually put them into practice, thought that we were weeds and needed to be taken out of the earth. So she made sure that in those Black and brown communities, that's where they're mostly put. So is that our infants that the African American community has willingly killed outnumbers the ones that are in the country to this day. That's a bad ratio. That there are more of your infants dead than there are of you living in the country. So if you want killing to stop in your streets, you want the bloodshed to stop in your streets, then you gotta stop it where it starts, which is in those clinics. Yes, they do a lot of other services and a lot of other things, but my tax dollars should not be going to fund those killings. You want to kill yours, by all means, get some government health care and go ahead. But my money should not be going towards that. That should be a whole nother sector, a whole nother issue. I shouldn't have to pay for you to kill your child, because that blood cries out from the ground. The Lord hears those cries of those children that should have had a future, that he put a call and a purpose on. And when you kill them off before they get to really live that call and that purpose, that blood is on your hands. And he's going to look at you, be like, did you come to me for that forgiveness? Did you repent for what you have done? Because he has grace and mercy for everyone. It's fresh and new every morning. But if you're willingly going to kill that way, but then you get mad that your friend's son or your friend's other kids are dying in the streets in Chicago through gang violence and all this other war and crime, you got to do the real dirty work and be willing to look at the facts that we are considered the weeds to them, and they want to take us out. And we got to stop letting them take us out.
Wow, I feel like we need to have a whole nother segment. That's powerful, but it's true. And that's what needs to come out is the truth. So we're going to end this right now. You've got a lot of support on here, CharT, you really do. I'm going to answer Noah's question. Can you tell us about the gala and what it includes? Absolutely. So real quick before we end, there is a gala on April 2nd at the Thelma Keller Convention Center in Effingham, Illinois, from 4 to 9, I believe. I think I can put the links in the comments to the gala itself. And what it includes is the tickets are $125 a piece. All of the proceeds go to police, fire, EMS, first responders, military, anybody in a uniform, nurses, doctors, doesn't matter. If you wear a uniform, this is where it goes. And it'll go locally through Effingham and throughout because it's in Effingham. So, and we'll try to hit some other hot spots too. But what that ticket gets you is dinner, dessert, hors d'oeuvres, and there's going to be a DJ. We're working on the 144th National Guard Jazz Band coming. We don't have confirmation on that yet. We have a speed painter, world-renowned, Michael Israel coming. So it's a lot going on. There's an auction, there's a raffle, it's a dinner. It is a formal black tie event. So we're going to spice it up and have a little fun. So I encourage everybody to buy a ticket. If you need to come, or if you want to sponsor it, then you automatically get a ticket. If you sponsor the event, you get automatic 2 tickets, and depending on the amount, you might get more to the gala to be able to participate. So it's a really good function. It is designed to help our men and women in uniform, no matter which uniform they wear. So it's very, very important to me. I've been a big Back to Blue girl since before I said I was running for U.S. Senate. So, and there's the link. It's up on there, www.eventbrite.com. It's on the screen. So you can just click on that link and buy your ticket. If we're also looking for a few more speakers, we've gained some. I believe Tracy Rayborn is coming and she is speaking, and a couple others. So I'm really excited about that, guys. So again, CharT, thank you for coming. I really appreciate your voice. I'm definitely going to have you back on a round table if you're up for it. I love your spunk. Noah, get with me privately and I'll take care of that. That's awesome. Yeah, it is. It's a great cause. It really is. CharT, I would actually like to invite you as my guest to the gala. No ticket needed. I think you've got some fire and soul in you that needs to be heard. And if you would like to speak, it's open, but you don't have to. But I still want to invite you to be my guest at the gala. So if
I wasn't going to be out of town that weekend visiting a friend in another state, I probably would have. But yeah,
That's right. I forgot.
that
Okay.
weekend goes into my spring break for my schooling, and I'm turning 30, so she told me to come visit her, and I'm like, I get out of the state for 7 days.
Well, absolutely,
It's
and I don't
nice.
blame you. So maybe you can just tune in live and watch it here and there. It will be live in one form or fashion. Hopefully, we have an amazing singer that I'm hoping to headline. I won't release any details, but she has my heart and soul with the song she wrote for our first responders. So I'm praying every day that that comes true. So anyway, again, thank you, CharT, for coming. I know we went over time a little bit, but yeah, Courtney, this girl needs to speak. You're getting a lot of comments, girl. You've got a voice and it needs to be heard. This is awesome. I love it. So this is what Citizen Watch is all about. So next week, we've got Teresa Rayborn with another voice. It's going to be phenomenal. And everybody have a wonderful Monday night and God bless. And again, CharT, thank you for showing up. And I appreciate you coming on. And we're going to end this broadcast. See you guys later.